Hey guys, how's it going? Vaibhav Sisinty here and welcome to the module 3, the connection loop. I'm very excited for all of you people because today we're going to do something really interesting, that is how you could find the right kind of audiences on LinkedIn using different methods. Okay, for all those people who are not done with day 1 and day 2, pause. You're not going to understand this. This is not going to make sense for you people. So make sure you go back and finish the module 1 and module 2 first, because that will clarify all the doubts that you might get in this. Because guys, there's a reason why it's module 3 and not module 1, right? It's been set up here so that you guys can get here and get the maximum out of that. So make sure you finish your day 1, that is your module 1 and module 2 as well, because based on the results that you found on the module 1 and module 2, you will be applying those findings here in the module 3. Alright, with that being said, I'm hoping all of you are done. Whoever is watching is done with the module 1 and module 2. So welcome to the connection loop. Alright, so this is everything that I'm going to teach you in connection loop today. Alright, the first one is regain lost glory. It's all about cleaning up. I'm going to talk more about it very soon. Next is finding the right mix of audiences, which is extremely important. Nobody talks about this because nobody has kind of tested it, but I have done it extensively, so I'm going to share all my secrets here. And then finally, how you could connect to your target audience. Now, a lot of you people might be like, Vaibhav, this looks very straightforward, right? At least with the third one, connect with your target audience. What do you mean by that? I will just find them on LinkedIn and then just get added to them. That's about it, right? Well, there is a lot more. Okay, that is not it. There's a lot more to it. There are multiple ways you can find people. There needs to be a clarity on what kind of mix you want to play, and also understand what is your current state of your profile right now. So that is what we're going to cover in this video. Alright, I'm also trying to keep it slightly shorter so that you get more time to execute. So slow it down if you think that I'm going too fast. Alright, but bear with me. Step number 1 is finding the lost glory, that is cleaning up your LinkedIn profile. Now, what do I mean by that? A lot of people reach out to me and say that, Vaibhav, you know what? I have 5,000 connections in my profile, but not many people look at my content, or I only get like 300 views, 400 views. Nobody likes my content. Nobody engages with my content. When I respond to them, when I write them a message, nobody responds to me. The reason is you have irrelevant audiences. Alright, what do I mean by that? I touch based upon this on day 1 as well, that is the module 1 as well, where I clearly told you people that imagine this, that you're a marketer and you're creating content about marketing. Okay, when you create content about marketing, and let's say your network, since you're an engineer or an e-commerce guy or whoever it is, or sorry, economics guy or whatever, financial advisor, whatever you were before, if you have other audiences, when you create a piece of content about marketing, those people won't even understand what you're talking about. As a result, your content reach would go down like crazy. Now, you might say that, Vaibhav, okay, now I understood who my who my audience is. Can I switch it? No, because the way the algorithm works is, let's say you create a piece of content, okay? Once you create a piece of content, it shows to a small set of audiences and checks if people are engaging with your content or not. If people are not engaging with your content, it only shows to a smaller set of audience. As a result, your post dies down. Because of which, what happens here is, if that small set of audience is not your relevant audience, they won't engage with your content. As a result, your content will die down. Now, the next step that happens here is, if LinkedIn will show your post to the same person 3 or 4 times. If 3 or 4 times, if the person doesn't engage with your content, LinkedIn will stop showing your content and all your updates to that person. As a result, your profile gets down into a state of dead profile. Though you have a lot of connections, your content doesn't reach to anyone because LinkedIn thinks that the people who are in your network don't care about you. Alright. Now, to fix that, the only thing that we can do right now is 2 things. One is that, let's say you have 25,000 connections and your profile is dead, right? In a few cases, I usually suggest people to restart your profile, that is just delete it and start a new one, because deleting connections and cleaning up is going to be a much longer process than creating a new one. But in most of the cases, that's not the problem, because you don't have a lot of connections, so you can do some level of cleaning up and be able to revive it slowly. It doesn't happen overnight. It revives slowly. Okay. The step 1 is cleaning up profile. Now how do you clean up a LinkedIn profile? It's actually very straightforward. A lot of you might have already guessed it. That is step 1 is analyze your connections. Now what do I mean by analyze your connections? Understand who all are in your connections. Step number 2 is compare it to your TG. Like I told you on the module 1, you guys decided what your TG is, who are the right set of audiences to be there. Now you look at your profile and see who is your TG is, and you try to match, right? These are the connections and this is my TG. How much of it matches? And now you will find that out of 100 connections that you have, only 20 people match the TG. Now you have to remove the 80 people who don't match your TG, right? So that is the process. Let me quickly show you how that is done. There you go. This is my LinkedIn profile. You can see. Okay. Let me do one thing. Let me go to my network. Okay. And then click on my connections. There you go. You see there are a bunch of connections that I have, about 26,704. I'll click on search with filters, and then I can say let this be there. I can just say let's say software. Let's say I don't want anybody who's a software developer in my network. The reason, my TG, let's say my TG is not for software developers, but my TG is basically marketers, because I'm trying to build a personal brand on marketing. Guys, this is a hypothetical situation. This is not the reality for me. Okay, a lot of you are already also software developers and are in this program for a reason, right? For me, it is relevant. Software developers are also relevant. But for you, in this example, let's assume that I'm trying to build a personal brand for marketing. So I would ideally on a high level want only marketers on my network. But when I look at software, there are 8,700 people who are my first level connections who are software folks, right? Now, what I want is I want to remove all of these people. Now, the other thing that you can do is click on all filters and say that I want to remove everybody who's in software and are in TCS, Accenture and Infosys. Just an example, guys, if you want to be picky there, right? So there you go, I've applied. I've got 176 people now, right? You can go as picky as that as well. But let's say that I found Prabhu to be not somebody. For example, Shweta is my best friend, so I can't remove her. She'll kick my ass. So I will, let's say Prabhu, okay? I'll open his connection. This is how I remove. It's very straightforward, very basic, right? Click on the more button. Click on the more button and click on remove connection. That's about it. And I have removed the connection of Prabhu. Now this is exactly what you have to repeat again and again, all over again, till you clean up all your profiles. Now a few people have asked me this question, Vaibhav, if I remove connections, will others get to know about it? Nope, they won't get to know about it unless they're literally coming to your profile and checking if they're connected with you or not, which I don't think many people will. But if they are friends, if they are your friends, they will. So don't remove your friends, right? But you get the point. So yeah, that is very, very important, guys, and that's how you remove people from your LinkedIn by finding the right set of audiences. So here you can also go a little deeper, saying software engineer, right? And in fact, what you could also do is you can use a or statement and say software engineer and or software developer. Okay, I'm gonna talk more about why I used or here in the mega webinar, so don't worry about that. But yeah, let's say I remove these. So you get the idea, right? There you have got 3,000 people who are called software engineers or software developers, right? Now I can simply open all of these people and start removing them. Alright, so that's how you clean up your profile, guys. It's a very, very important step. Yes, it's a boring step, and no, there is no way to automate this. There are a few ways to automate this, but I strongly recommend you guys to stay away from that, because you guys will get banned, because automation is not safe. And most of you people don't know how to do it in the right way, and I don't want your accounts to be banned. Okay, so don't ask me questions of Vaibhav, how do I automate this? You can't as of now. Okay, so do it manually, take some time out. If you can't do it, get your little brother, younger sister, pay them some kind of a bribe, or find a VA, I don't know, in Nigeria, I don't know where, spend like 4 or 5 grand on them, pay them $100 and get it done, right? But it's very, very, very important for you to get it done. So like I said, click on people, select first level connections, and then click on remove connections. As straightforward and simple as that. I've already demonstrated this to you guys live, so I don't think I have to run you guys to the slides. I hope that is clear. If you guys are not clear, pause, go back, watch it again. Alright? And yes, you can have some exceptions. In this case, if you look at it, right, in this case, I didn't remove, in the older case, not this case, But in the older case, I didn't remove Shweta who was visible. For example, I wouldn't remove Tarun. There you go. I didn't remove Shweta because she's my friend, right? It's always good to have your friends, your ex-colleagues who you personally know on the network, even if they are not part of your TG. The reason is that is going to be a very small set of audience. Now, even if you think about all the friends that you know, okay, and all the ex-colleagues that you have, sab milake, if you mix all of them, it'll probably come to 400 max. I don't know if somebody has 400 friends also in real life, but you get my point, right? That is okay. Having those exceptions is fine. But people who you don't know and are still there for the sake of it, remove them. Alright. Now, a few might also ask me, Vaibhav, what about maybe they will be useful in the future? Well, guess what? All the 6.5 million people on LinkedIn might be useful for you in the future. Will you add all of them? No, right? Do what is needed right now. Alright? Awesome. Now, moving on to the next thing, finding your mix. Now, what do I mean by finding my mix? Is this some cocktail party? Absolutely not. Maybe it is. But you get the point. The right mix here is the exact type of audience to add to your profile for the best overall performance. Now, what do I mean by this? Now, you might be thinking, like, Vaibhav, didn't you just say add your TG? I was like, yes, but you remove on module, if you remember on module 1, I told you that there has to be a mix. From 0 to 5K, the strategy is this, but from 5K to 30K, the strategy is going to change. If you remember that. So the way we reach out to people is going to change. So I'm going to exactly specify what you should do, what kind of mix you could potentially have here so that you get the best optimal performance on your LinkedIn. Alright. It is also important that you have the right mix of TG and also people who will engage with your content, right? Because not every time your TG will respond to your content. Anyways, you'll get more ideas once I move forward. That is with the right mix. Now, what is the right mix? So guys, right now what I'm going to do is in the next 3 slides, I'm going to run you through the right mix for lead generation, personal brand, and if you're looking for a job. Alright. So if you want to skip some bit because it's not relevant, feel free to. Awesome. The mix for lead generation. Like you remember, the classifications are always going to be first 5,000 followers and then 5,000 to 30,000 followers. That's how the classification is going to be. Okay? So in the lead generation bit, the first 5,000 followers, obviously add only your target audience. In this case, it could be your clients, it could be your whatever the target audience that you decided in module 1. Add only your target audience when you're trying to do for lead generation. Now, here's a recommended step that I have for you. Enable follow only. Now, what do I mean by that? So, let me think of a profile. Let's say Neil Patel. In this case, okay, he has no follow option. So, guys, a few people, right? Few people will have follow button only. I think I'm connected with no. Okay, I can't find now. I can't find a profile right now, which is weird. But a few people, for example, if you check my profile, I only have follow only button. You cannot, for example, right, you cannot send me a connection request unless you click on the more button and connect on the button. So what happens when you have a follow button is, guys, by the way, if you don't know how to enable the follow button, please Google. That's very simple, straightforward. Google how to enable follow button for my LinkedIn. You'll get your answers. Don't ask me that. Okay, it's in the settings. Now, coming back to the point, saying why would I ask you to have only follow option for if your mix is lead generation? The answer is actually pretty straightforward, right? What happens in lead generation is you want only to add the right exact form of audience. As a result, you need complete control of it. While there could be a few people who might want to know more about you, those people can end up following you. But the moment you enable follow, you're basically saying that, boss, I don't add everybody and I'm very specific to it. As a result, you get the chance to add all of these people by yourself on people who you think are relevant. Now, in a few cases, you might say, Vaibhav, if I have follow only enabled, a few interesting people might come to my profile and they might not find a connect button. As a result, they might not connect with me. But that is absolutely fine because we have this option here on LinkedIn which talks about who viewed your profile. Obviously, you would need LinkedIn Premium for this, but if you're so serious about your game, right? Who viewed your profile? You can obviously check people here, and if you think somebody who is interesting who viewed your profile, you can always connect with them, right? They would be happy to get connected. For example, let's say let's say I want to connect with Gudharva here. Okay, So he came to my profile. He didn't connect with me because he didn't see a connection option 7 minutes back. So you can simply click on the connect button, and that's about it. It's so easy. Now he also knows. Now connection message also is not so important because he already knows who I am because he visited my profile. You see? So you can always do this. All right. So enable follow only is my suggestion. You don't have to follow exactly what I say. All right. These are my suggestions. And finally, from 5,000 to 30,000 followers, what the right mix according to me is 30 to 50%. Once you've got your 5,000 connections, right? Post that, I would say 30 to 50% of your audience should be your TG, your exact target audience. Remaining should be people who have the highest chances of engaging with your content. Now, how do you define who are the people who have the highest chances of engaging with your content? I'm going to talk about how you can find active users in the future video, so you'll get an answer about it. But basically the idea here is to teach you people how to find audiences which are active on LinkedIn, and not just people who are active on LinkedIn, but actually engage with content. Everybody who's active on LinkedIn don't engage with your content. You need to add people who have the tendency of liking and commenting on your post because they are high value people for your profile. Okay, and I'm gonna tell you how you can find them, but you get the point. The remaining could be a mix of audiences, because what happens is, even if your TG doesn't much engage with you, the remaining 70 to 50% of your audience will be the people who will start engaging with your content. Alright, so that is the right mix for lead gen. Now moving on to personal brand. In personal brand, it's actually again very simple and straightforward, but in personal brand, like we know, usually the reason why people follow us is because they want to learn something from us. So add the mix of juniors and seniors in your space, whatever your TG is, right? Whatever your TG is, add the first, be very specific again with the first 5,000 people, right? Add your TG in the starting based on your target group. And also when you're building a personal brand, here I would strongly recommend you to have a follow only option, because you're building a personal brand here, right? Again, you can follow the same rules that I told you. If you find something really interesting and they checked your profile out, you can always send them an invite any which ways. Finally, moving on to 5,000 to 30,000 connections, we fall into the same category of the last TG as well, where 30 to 50% of you are coming from the TG, who are mix of seniors and juniors. Obviously, people who are trying to build personal brands will have higher engagement rate than anyone else, right? Because you're creating content, you're trying to build a brand. So you will have the highest form of engagement. You will have the most wider TG possible, right? So 30 to 50% from your TG, and remaining are active users who potentially will engage with your content. Very straightforward, very simple, not very different from this. But here the advantage is that you have a mix of juniors and seniors, which will basically enable you for having more engagers on your content. Okay, so that is the mix for personal brand folks. And finally, for job seekers, again, first 5,000 should be add your TG as much as you can. The reason why I say as much as you can is because how will you add 5,000 HRs, right? It's going to be very, very difficult. You might not find 5,000 HRs based on your dream companies, right? And also how many of them would be your potential seniors and potential juniors. So here, getting to that 5,000 number is going to take a longest amount of time, because it's hardest to find people who could potentially get you the role. But this could be the most rewarding as well, right? Because these audiences are people who can get you an interview offer if they are connected with you. Guys, I cannot stress enough how powerful this could be for you if you're a job seeker. All right. So add your TG as much as you can. I'm not saying 5,000 for sure. I'm saying as much as you can. Okay. And then here I recommend not to enable follow button, because here you're looking for a job. Be open to it. Check out also, right, in the other cases as well, when you get an invitation, if you have the patience, go through them, and if you think somebody is falling into your TG, you can always accept them. There's nothing wrong with it, right? So you can do the same thing here. Be a little picky about who you're adding up, but when you're adding somebody, make sure you check, but don't have a follow option enabled here. I have also tested with follow option enabled here. It didn't work so well. That's why I suggest right now not to enable follow only button, have connection button, so that when potential people are reaching you out, they connect with you right away. All right, rather than being confused, because a few HRs might come to your profile and they'll be like, oh, this guy doesn't have a connect button. How do I reach out to him? A lot of people don't know that they can click on those 3 dots and click on connect any which ways, right? So there could be problems. That's why I say this. And also, like again, in this case, though I say 30 to 50% from your TG, it is going to be really, really hard, right? So I would say, let's say you're a software developer and your TG is senior software developers and other software developers. I would recommend you guys to add a lot of other software developers, even if they don't fall into your dream company. All right, because having that audience, carving that audience which works for you is very, very important. So in that case, I would call the 30 to 50% to be the wider scope, like other software developers working in all the other companies that you think are good companies or you think are the good experience level. And then on top of that, again, add other users who are active and share similar job profiles. Right? Similar job profiles in this case is financial advisor. For a financial advisor, add other finance people who could learn from you, or maybe also people who might be able to hire you, right? So you get the point, guys. If, like I told you, this mix won't make sense for you people if you haven't understood your target audience. So if you have not done it, again, I'm telling you, pause, check out your target audience and then come back, because it's going to be super irrelevant if not, right? So make sure you do that. And finally, there is no hard and fast rule here, okay? There is no such rule that you have to do this, you have to do that. ऐसे कुछ rule नहीं है, alright? There is no such rule. You need to keep experimenting. I told you what are the things that work. Now you feel free to experiment and see what is working for you. Alright? So when I say add 5,000 people, you can go and add 10,000 people as part of your TG as well. While you might say, Vaibhav, you know what, I only am able to find 2,500 people who are exactly for my TG. Can I go broader from the rest? You can. It's up to you. I told you what works the best according to me. Right? That doesn't mean that it will work, that will exactly work for you. This is not a dictionary, guys. This is basically, how do I put it? This is social networking, right? It is going to work differently for everybody. But based on what I said, these are tried and tested for multiple people. So chances of this working out for you as well is extremely high. Alright? With that being said, now you might ask, Vaibhav, how to find active people on LinkedIn? You kept saying you active people, active people, active people. How the F do I find active people on LinkedIn? How will I know that they're active or not? So it's actually pretty straightforward if you think about it. If you visit anybody's profile, right, you will see something called as the activity section. You can see Kunal replied to the comment. Kunal replied. So what this basically means is Kunal Shah is actually active on LinkedIn. You can simply open anybody's profile on LinkedIn and you can check the activity section and you will be able to find if the person is active on LinkedIn or not. Guys, the other thing that I totally missed out to say is when you enable follow only button, right, and when you create content, LinkedIn will automatically start showing this button when you share content. So on the feed, people will be able to see this button. By simply clicking on this, they will start following you, right? As a result, you increase the number of followers as well in this way. So that is one more advantage of having the follow button, which I totally missed talking about, right? All right. So what was I talking about right now? Okay. Activity. Let's say I open Sam's profile, okay. So you can see that here's the activity. I can click on see all and I can also go to all activity. You can see he's been very, very engaging. So this is 1 day back, 1 week back. So he is active on LinkedIn, right? He's been liking and commenting. So this guy, I would consider him as an active person. This is how you can find. FYI, user, if they want to hide their activity section, they can hide it too. But 99% of them don't do it. Okay, because they don't even care, they don't even know that it exists, so they don't do it. Alright, so you can be rest assured that if you are not seeing any activity of a person, that basically means that guy doesn't like, comment or engage with anybody, or there's a very good chance that he's not even active on LinkedIn, that is doesn't log in on LinkedIn every day either. So having those kind of people is useless, guys, because even if they fall into your TG, right, if those people are not active on LinkedIn, what is the whole point of having them at all? Right? Do I make sense? There's no point of having people added to your network if they're not active. If you have a phone number of a person and the phone is always switched off, what would you do with the phone number? Right? It's the same story here as well. So adding people who are active on LinkedIn is extremely important that way. That's right. Okay? With that being said, let's jump to the final section of today and probably the most important one as well. That is connect with your target audience. Now, what is this? There are 3 ways that you can connect with target audience. The first one, probably you know this already, that is the LinkedIn search, right? The next one that I want to talk about with you people is the LinkedIn Sales Navigator. Yes, it's a paid tool, but it's an extremely powerful tool. I want to show you the power of that. And finally, OPN, Other People Network. I'm going to talk about this as well, and it will blow your mind. So 3 ways that I'm going to talk about today. So wait and try to understand what I'm saying in each one of these steps. Okay? So First, before I go there, let's learn how to connect the right way, because connection is not finding somebody and just sending them an invite, right? That is not connecting. Connecting has a style to it. There's a process that you need to follow for them to accept your invitation. So the problem with connections is a lot of people will send a lot of connections. Let me open my this, right? You see the number of connections that I have here. Look at this, guys. I just added Gundharva and he already accepted my invite. That's the power when somebody comes and visits your profile and then you accept them and you send a request. So they will accept any which ways, right? Guys, so you see, these I have 19,875 pending requests, okay? Now I'm scrolling down. Look at this. None of them, you see everything of, all of them have the same format. Something is missing, and there is one which has something called as a custom message. And it says, this is Digvijay, a digital marketer, I'm currently looking for a job change or whatever, right? He has a custom message that stands out right there. I have so many invites and there's again one more custom message. But here, look at this. I would like to add you to my professional network on LinkedIn. Now, this is a very, very bad custom message. Now, what am I getting to? You already are getting an idea. Please add a custom note while sending an invite. It increases the chance of someone accepting your invite. Okay, because you can see that most of the people don't send an invite. I'm showing you the live example. There are very, very few people who send an invite with a custom note. Again, here Gauri has sent me a nice little invite, right? She's telling why she wants to get in touch with me. But there is a right way of sending an invite. There's a wrong way of sending an invite as well. This, my friend, is a wrong way of sending invite. Okay, this is a wrong way of sending invite, because here the person is like, I would like to add you to my professional network. That is no. That is a huge no. Alright. While in this case, Gauri has added a nice little note, which is very, very helpful, right? If you think about it. So I can get to know why she's sending me. She's talking about incorporating memes in marketing today, which is today's post, which I like it. And I'm like, okay, Gauri is a good connect to have, and I'm going to accept the connection. So this is what happens in reality as well. So if you want your connection invites to go up, you need to add a custom note to it. I'm going to talk more about custom notes on module 5. But you get the idea. You can start experimenting with a few custom notes right now. On module 5, I'm going to give you some templates as well. Alright. With that being said, the next thing that I want to talk about is don't send more than 100 invites per day. Now, don't get super aggressive and say that, oh, you know what, I'm going to send hundreds of invites per day, build a huge network and become super popular. You know what's going to happen? LinkedIn is going to put you in LinkedIn jail. What is LinkedIn jail? The moment you overdo things, LinkedIn will stop allowing you to add connections. Alright, that is very, very, very important, because of which what you have to do in this case is start adding 20 to 30 invitations per day and slowly increase it to 100 in a couple of weeks. Start with 10, tomorrow 20, next day 25, 30, 35, 40. Slowly in a week or two get to 100 and then stay at 100. 95, 100, 105 is okay per day. Don't cross that and stay consistent. Okay. Now guys, if you still have this question saying, Vaibhav, how can I send a custom invite? I mean, I'm expecting that it's a very basic thing, but let me quickly show you how. Okay, let's say I'm looking for a marketing manager. Okay. And let's say I want to connect with Namrata Chaudhary. Okay. So I click on the connect button and then there's something called as add a note. I can click on this and then add a note here. Okay, so how can you add notes? Do some research about the user. Please do some research about the user. What is that person? What is the person doing? She's a marketing manager. Okay, that is great. And now what has she done? Read a little bit about this, right? The kind of things that she does. She does KOL engagement, and then she does market research, lifecycle management. Awesome. And then click on see more. Go through her post to understand if she has shared about anything. Look at this. She has shared about giving her an opportunity on thoughts on brand management. So she went and spoke somewhere. Talk about this, saying, hey Namrata, I found you on LinkedIn. I just saw your post that you spoke at this really interesting stuff. I'm a marketer as well. I'm sure that we could learn something from each other. Would love to connect. Right? We can use multiple templates like that. So that's how you do research and reach out to people. Alright, so that is very, very important, guys. Make sure you have a custom note enabled. The moment you add a custom note, you will get an idea. You'll see that how people will start accepting your invites more often than not. Alright, so that is very important. Awesome. With that being said, let's go to the first way of finding target audience on LinkedIn search. Now this is the first way, like I said, this is LinkedIn search. You guys already know about it. But let's say I'm looking for founders in San Francisco working for internet startups. What are internet startups? Internet startups are those companies which are like Swiggy, Uber, Zomato, Postmates and all that. App-based companies are called internet startups. Okay. So simply I'll click on people and then I will say second level connections, apply. Right, and then I'm gonna say founder here. Okay, once I do that, I'll change the location to, let's say, San Francisco. Apply. There you go. I found 16,000 people who are in San Francisco who are founders. Okay, or are co-founders. Now when I click on all filters, you have an array of options. You can select which companies do you want people from. Let's say you're looking for marketers, or let's say you're looking for software engineers. You can select the companies as well, past companies as well, industries, language, schools, services that I told about, and all the other aspects. So here in the industries, you can search for your industry. Not every industry is there, so you have to, pick and choose. But here I'm going to select internet because it's clearly visible and I use this very often. If not, I could have just found it by searching. Once that is done, I click on apply. Now you can see from 1600 people, I've come down to only 1700 founders who are running internet companies in San Francisco. Now this is how you drill down to your audience. In fact, let's say you want founders who are very, very smart. So you want people who are from Stanford or Wharton only, and you don't want from anybody else. I don't know how many people we will find like that. There you go. 214 founders who are people in San Francisco running internet companies and are from Stanford or Harvard. How cool is this? This is so freaking powerful, guys. And simply you can open those profiles, click on the connect button, add a nice little note, and send on the done button. All right. So it's as simple as that. All right. So that's how you can find people on the LinkedIn search tool. Now, the next thing that I wanted to show you people is Sales Navigator. How you can find people on Sales Navigator. All right. Because Sales Navigator is very, very powerful, guys, because Sales Navigator gives you more options to find people. All right. For that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly switch to one of my clients' profile, because FYI, LinkedIn Sales Navigator is a paid option. Okay. It's a paid tool. It costs about 5,000 rupees if I'm not wrong. There you go, $780. Right. It's about 5,000 or 6,000 rupees per month, but it's totally worth it if you're serious about your business. Okay, it's totally worth it if you're serious about your business. So if you are interested, and also it has a 30 days free trial, so you can experiment with it. There you go, 5,000 rupees, folks. That's how much it costs, Sales Navigator. And let me show you the power of this. By the way, I'm not affiliated. Even if you buy Sales Navigator, I'm not going to get even 1 rupee. All right. In fact, going forward, I'm going to show you a few hacks as well on how you can overcome a few options of Sales Navigator. With that being said, let me quickly switch into my client's account. Alright guys, so this is Sales Navigator. Obviously this is a client's profile and he has already has a paid version of Sales Navigator, so I thought why not I use his profile to show you people up. Obviously his name would be blurred right now. Now Sales Navigator, I'll show you the power of Sales Navigator, right? Once you get your free trial, you'll be able to see this dashboard. So you have keywords, right? Here or here you can just search for it. So let's say here, let's say I go for the same one, I will say founder. Okay. The moment I search for founder, there you go. It has got me 6 million results. Obviously, now I have to drill it down. You can see custom list, past leads and all that. Skip that. Now I'll go to geography and I'm going to call it San Francisco. San Francisco Bay Area. San Francisco Bay Area right now is showing 220k results. While if you see LinkedIn free search only showed you 16,000 if you remember, right? Now that this is done, let me play with few more. Industry, which was also there. I'm going to say internet, right? 18,000 people. All right. Now here's the beauty. Now the beauty of Sales Navigator is, let's say you want to reach out to internet companies which are small because they just got started and they might need your help with whatever service that you sell. Okay. So there are options to select the size of the company as well. So let's say I want very small companies. Self-employed, that is only one founder and he's running everything right now. So it's on the ground level, or 1 to 10. 1 to 10 is basically smaller companies. And look at this beauty, right? We have found people who are running companies which are sized from 1 to 10, 0 to 10, and are in San Francisco running internet-based companies. In fact, you can go broader, saying functions, and you can say that, you know what, I want people who are in marketing only. Okay, I can select that as well. So these are founders who are marketers only and are also running companies which are from size of 1 to 10. And you can look at that. We have drilled down to only 340 results, guys. And you can go deeper with view all filters, a bunch of other things as well that you can select from. I would leave that to you. Alright. So let me show you more powerful thing than this. Now we have found 340 results. Here, there's a tab called as 21 people changed their job in last 90 days. This might not be relevant for everybody, but this is the most important aspect. 111 people posted on LinkedIn in last 30 days. What does it signify? If these people have posted on LinkedIn in last 30 days, that essentially means these people are active on LinkedIn. You get my point? I told you how to find people who are active on LinkedIn. So this way, I can literally reach out to 111 people who could potentially be the buyers of my product in San Francisco, who are running an internet company which is sized from 0 to 10 employees and are also marketers themselves. So when I talk about a marketing product, they will understand. The same way, let's say you are selling some financial, I don't know, some fintech product which will help them, right? So you might want to reach out to them, someone who is in finance. Now, obviously, I don't think there are any founders in finance here. Still are. You can see 112 people. So if you have fintech product and you want to reach out to an audience so niche like this, you can still find 112 people, out of which 32 people are also active. That is the power of LinkedIn Search Sales Navigator. Alright, and I'm not even shown you all the options. What I will strongly recommend you is to play with this tool. Take the free trial, play with this tool, and make sure you don't forget this magic button which shows you people who are active on LinkedIn. Alright, if I cut it down, if I make it a little broader, usually when you're building a personal brand, you don't go so niche. If I go a little broader, you can see that 3K people who have posted on last 30 days who are founders and running internet companies in San Francisco. How powerful is that, guys? Right? I hope you guys get the point. And that is how you can find awesome target audience based on who are active on LinkedIn using Sales Navigator. And also, if you want to drill down, you know what to do. Alright, I hope that was fun. Now coming back to the presentation again, you get the point. That is the power of Sales Navigator, folks. Finally, moving on to the next one is finding your TG using OPN. What is OPN? OPN is basically other people network. Now, like I told you, you would want to add people who are, one, active on LinkedIn, and two, are falling into your target audience. The easiest way to find these audiences is by finding your competition or finding people like you on LinkedIn who are already big. Now, what do I mean by that? Right? This is what I mean by that, guys. Let me open my LinkedIn right now. So, imagine, obviously, right? Let's say I am a marketer and I'm trying to build brand, I'm trying to, be a thought leader in marketing. Okay, let's say Gary Vaynerchuk falls into the category. I want to become like Gary Vaynerchuk, and people who are connected and people who are following Gary Vaynerchuk are also people who might follow me, right? Or who are people who should be into my right target audience. So this is what OPN is, guys. If you go to his posts, right, when you click on his post, you can see there are 941 people who have liked this content. All these 941 people have liked this content. What does it mean? That means these people are your potential audience who are falling into your TG and are also active and are also people who engage with content. This is gold mine for us, right? In fact, if you go broader, if I say I only want people who comment, these people would be people who are super serious and are very, very high level of engagers and are very, very relevant to your audience. Now, let me move to someone like Guy Kawasaki, right, who is a marketer himself. He's an evangelist at Canva. He's a very well-known marketer and a software person, right? He has worked with Steve Jobs for a matter, right? And he has millions of followers, obviously. Now, his audience is also super relevant for me, maybe, right? I can also get all these people. All I have to do is click on people who are liking and engaging with his content. just open their profiles up in new tabs. Let's say I just open their profiles up in new tabs, and once I do that, I can start connecting with them. You get my point? All of a sudden, you are finding audiences who are relevant, active on LinkedIn, and are also engagers of content. Only 2 to 3% of people who are active on LinkedIn actually engage with your content. Most of people are just, they just view your content, they leave. They don't engage. Not everybody has the habit of engagement. So these are the best kind of audience you can have, my friends. And that is what I mean by other people network. You're stealing others' audiences, ethically. You're not doing anything unethical here, ethically, right? And you can also, when you're writing a custom note, you can say that, hey man, I also follow Gary Vaynerchuk. I see you too as well. We both are very similar people, and I thought it would be great to get to know you as well, so that we could do something together later. Whatever that is, you get my point, right? You're finding common interests right now, which is also a very good custom message. All right. That is finding TG using OPN. And now I have one more OPN hack for you people. That is LinkedIn groups. LinkedIn groups are basically dead. Okay. They're of no use. Even if you create content on LinkedIn groups, they're not going to do anywhere. All right. I'm being very, very frank. But LinkedIn group has one big advantage: the audience. People who are in these groups are people who really like what you are talking about, who really like, who are really are interested in that topic. For example, growth hacking, right? All these 2,831 people are people who are interested in growth hacking. So if I come to a profile, come to a group, click on see all. There you go. Now you could see all these people are there who are calling themselves that they're interested in growth hacking. So you don't even have to do the research of if they're interested in growth hacking or not. I could simply open their profiles all over the world. How beautiful is this, right? Open their profiles and simply connect with them. Guys, these are gold mines, right? These are gold mines, and people don't use these things. Most of the people rely on LinkedIn search to find their audiences, but these are the audiences which are already saying, they're shouting that, hey, I am interested in what you do, right? There are hundreds of groups there, guys. There are hundreds of groups. Let's say I say finance, okay? I don't know if there's any finance groups, but I search for finance, click on more, select groups. There you go. The bunch of finance groups. Now I can simply get added to these groups and start connecting with people who are relevant to my audiences. How powerful is this? So you can find groups for almost every category and every space that you have by simply making a LinkedIn search here. Let me do that again. I just search for finance. Okay. And once the search happens, click on more and select groups. That's about it. Whatever you want to type it out, find the people, look at the audiences, and if you find someone interesting, add them. Very, very relevant. You don't have to break your head here, right? So that is the next way of finding your audiences. Guys, that's basically everything that I wanted to share with you people today. We started with understanding your mix, cleaning up our profiles, and finally 4 different ways. I told you 3 ways, but I literally showed you 4 different ways on how you could find the right set of audiences for LinkedIn. Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what has been your favorite. Tweet it out. Let me know what has been your favorite, but you get the point, right? So these are how you can find the right set of audiences on LinkedIn. Again, like I said, if you have gone through the video but you still don't know what your TG is, make sure you go back to the drawing board, watch the module 1, get 100% clarity on your TG. Also optimize your profile, because a lot of times when you're sending out a connection request, if your profile is not optimized, a lot of these people are going to open your profile and to check who you are. If your profile is not optimized and not updated properly, then these people are not going to accept you. Alright, every step is important. There is a sequence that exists. I call this a 5-step blueprint for a reason. Alright, so please follow. Alright, so the task time is here. This is the task for today for module 3, guys. The task is obviously again pretty straightforward. You might have thought about it already, but here's how I want you to do it. I call the task go and connect. Now how do you do it? Use any of the search methods to find your target audience. I told you 4 different ways. Use any of the methods to find your right target audience. Now copy a minimum of 20 profiles into a Google Sheet which you think are relevant. 20 profiles which are relevant, copy them onto a Google Sheet. Okay. Once you do that, send them invites with a custom message on it. Again, this is very important. Have the custom message, write a custom message for all these connections. Do some research, write a custom message about them on a Google Sheet. Keep it ready. Okay, and then once you have written a custom message for all the 20 connections, now all you have to do is go to LinkedIn, connect with them, add a note with a custom message, and once you have sent them invites, on the sheet on the right, say done, updated. Okay, so this is what I want you to do. And also you can have one more column saying approved, not approved. The moment someone approves your request, you can say that as approved. The moment if the person is not approving your request, you can say it as pending. Okay, and if someone is not adding you for more than 7 days, you can remove them and send them a request again, so that the request will go to the top. Even for the second time, if they don't add you, that basically means they're not interested, my friend. So just move on. There are enough people to connect with, right? So that's the task, guys. It's very straightforward. Use search methods, find your target audience, find 20 people, put it on a Google Sheet, write 20 custom messages for them, start sending invites using the custom note, and update the Google Sheet. Once all this thing is done, take a screenshot and share it in as an assignment. So that is the assignment for today, folks. So that is what it is. I'm very excited, guys. If you have any questions, check out the FAQs, like you know. All right, so that will clear a lot of questions that you might have, but on a very high level, this is what you need to do. You will, if you follow everything that I just told you, you will start seeing results immediately. You will start getting much higher connection acceptance rates. You will see your connection engagement will go up, your content engagement will go up, and everything else. On module 4, we're going to talk about content, and by then, make sure you finish this task as well. All right. So that's basically more about it for today. I'm so glad that you guys could cover up the whole module. If you've reached till here, great job. You've sticked around. It has gone slightly longer than I thought it would, but who cares, right? As long as the content is good. So I hope you enjoyed it, and make sure you do the task, and I'll see you in the next module. See you guys. Bye.